This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
All right, Johnny, you got to hear this story. So I have some friends, they're looking for a home, and their realtor showed up to a house, and she had told them that the owner of the house said to knock and push the doorbell to see if they're home. If not, just go unlock the lockbox, like put in the code, and that gives you the key, right? What do they call that?
You're right. Super lockbox.
Yeah. And so they rang the doorbell. They waited a couple minutes, just assumed, okay, they're not home. You know where this is going.
Yeah.
So they go to the lockbox and get the key out. They go into the house. The lights are off. They start flicking the lights off to look at the home. They go into the bedroom, open the door, and there is the owner of the house on the floor naked, passed out. Apparently he's diabetic, and while he was getting dressed, he passed out, had an episode, and they were freaked out. They turned around and left, and she apparently called an ambulance. They were able to revive him. Have you ever had an issue like that? What do you do in a situation like that? That just seems crazy to me. That would scare the heck out of me.
Well, the first red flag for me was like, knock on the door. Like, why do I have to knock? There shouldn't be anybody there, or there's going to be somebody there and we should know. Like, why
that was the instructions that their realtor was given. Knock on the door, ring the doorbell to see if we're home. If not, go around, get the key from the lockbox, then come into the house. Apparently, the guy didn't hear the doorbell because he was passed out.
He was passed out, poor fella. No, that's where I'm like, that's weird. Why? Either I can go in or I can't go in. Why do I have to knock? You know, because you're going to see the whole house. So that would have been my first red flag. But to answer your question, I have a story like that, and so with those little blue lock boxes, those super lock boxes, only agents or real estate appraisers, you have to have a license and you have to pay like a monthly fee in order to be able to access them. And normally this is a great feature to provide home sellers because it tracks who's been in the home, when, their phone number, their license number, when did they arrive, when did they leave. There's a lot of great benefits to this. However, if it's between a certain window of time, anybody with the app is able to open the lockbox and access the property. And so there's this built-in accountability, this built-in, process where I want to keep my license. I don't want to get fined. I don't want to do this. So there's no issue with people opening the lockbox. Well, sometimes mistakes do happen, or sometimes agents, probably newer agents, just don't understand what they're doing. And this, again, out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes we've sold, like Valerie and I have sold personally, this is the only time I can think of this happening. But it's a very similar story. It was super cool, actually. The people owned a number of Little Caesars in the area. So they had like all these Little Caesars, and they had bought this house a long time ago. And when they bought it, they then refinanced it, a cash refi, pulled the money out, and that's how they launched their Little Caesars business. So this is the house that baked 1 million pizzas. Right. So it's a great story. They eventually, moved up, got a nicer house. Their parents were then living in the home. And so it's an elderly couple living in this home. And it was a very desirable neighborhood, very affordable, very clean. And people were going crazy about this house. And so somebody, a little bit too enthusiastic. Like we talked before about the agent who was prospecting at a funeral.
Right.
Like saying, hey, you know what? Your dad, we were kind of buddies. Am I going to sell his house? Before he died.
I'm not saying I did anything.
And it's like, the dude died. You're at his funeral. The body's still warm. And so some agents they're just not professional. And what had happened was this guy, for whatever reason, wasn't getting a response fast enough approving or suggesting a different time for the showing, so he just went in and he caught the poor lady in the shower.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so she freaked out, he freaked out, he ran. Like it was a huge thing. And so moving forward, what we did there, and it's a bit of a pain for everybody, for the agents, for the buyer's agents, the listing agents, for the sellers even, but you can do what's called a CBS. It's a call before showing code. And so then that way I have to give you the code verbally or text it to you. So yes, you can access it, but the bottom of the lockbox won't fall out unless you type in an extra code. So then we did that moving forward, and nobody was getting caught in the shower anymore.
But I'm sure that can be tricky, when someone's still living at the home. It's still their home, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have kids, maybe they have pets.
Yep.
and making those arrangements where someone can stop by and look at the house. It can be crazy. You never know when you're going to walk in on a naked guy on the floor in the bedroom.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, stuff like that does happen, but really, and also family. So like imagine Valerie and I are moving right now, and we're going to be one door down from my mom. Not next door neighbors, but one door down. My mom is probably going to be over at the house.
All the time.
All the
Absolutely.
time with the grandkids. She might be over there, and let's say we were selling that house. She might be over there, and nobody told her that we were going to have a showing. We just forgot, and mom shows up, right? That can, cause conflict. So you really have to communicate with your agent and make sure expectations are set about when showings can happen and how you want them to be performed.
But that's one of your suggestions for when you're advising one of your clients that's selling their home is, if at all possible, put things in storage, try to make the home as available and open as possible. If even maybe go stay with a family member during that period of when you're trying to sell that house, to just make it more appealing. Because people, when they walk in, they want to see a blank canvas, right?
They want to see a blank canvas, but they really just want to, even before they walk in, they're driving through the neighborhood. Where's the gas station? Where's the grocery stores? How far is this from work? Where's schools? Now they're driving through it. Are the neighbor houses like kept up? Are people parking their cars on the lawn? What's that look like? And now they pull in front of the house, and now they're evaluating. Hey, is it maintained? What's the roof look like? What's the paint look like? What's the front door like? They open up the door. What does it smell like? Like a lot of people.
People forget about that. The smell is super important, huh?
Yeah. Like you watch shows and there's like a bunch of homeless people in a city or on the news. And all I'm seeing when I see that, I'm not thinking about like what the situation looks like. I'm thinking about what does the situation smell like.
You're just thinking of that urine smell.
The urine smell, the strong BO. Yeah. And so
you're smelling it now.
I'm smelling it now. Ugh. But when you walk into the house, you want to make sure that the potential buyer feels welcome. And so, yes, you might have to do a little bit of depersonalization, but the most important thing is getting people in the home. Like that, very rarely does a person buy the house sight unseen. And so when somebody's taking time out of their day, maybe taking time off work, maybe they've driven hours, maybe they flew from across the country and they picked your house. Out of the other homes on the market, they picked yours. You want to be as welcoming as possible and as accommodating. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, you got to get the dogs, kenneled or out of the house. Yes, you have to keep it clean. But you're selling a house that's probably worth 5, 6, maybe there's 2 commas, over $1 million. It's worth it for that brief bit of pain in order to get that property under contract.
Yeah. I heard that it's a good idea to maybe put some toast in the toaster or make some cookies. Because you talked about smell, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that effective?
So you want the dishes to be clean, right? So you don't want dirty dishes in the sink. You want it to be clean. And then if you do have pets, or if you maybe cooked something that had a strong odor to it, like I hate the smell of Brussels sprouts. I love eating them, but I hate the smell of Brussels sprouts. So if you cook something like that, yes, you could do cookies, but if it was me, I would either have like some type of a plug-in, like a Glade plug-in, or light a candle. But I'd prefer something that's like doesn't have an open flame in case I leave and something comes back. So those are some easy tips.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if somebody would like more tips in selling their home and they're eager to put this thing on the market and get it sold within the next month, what should they do?
So if they're wanting to sell, reach out to our team. We can give you tons of tips. The most important thing that we end up doing that really just puts people at ease, because a lot of people are like, hey, I've sold a house before, but it's been 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Or they feel confident in the process, but maybe things have changed since the last time you sold. And so the thing that most people really enjoy is when we have a professional home readiness consultation. So we actually pay for somebody to come out there and give you tips on how to get the home picture ready. Because homes that are picture ready take better photos, show better online, and ultimately sell for more money.
That's good. So 530 get more, right?
You can reach out to us and or just Google Made for More. You'll see us. You'll see that we have more Google reviews than anybody out there. So not only do we sell a house on average every 3 days, but we do a fantastic job for our clients.
Mike, I love this story. Jessica and Brian were selling their home and retiring out of state. They needed to make the most money possible because a large portion of their retirement funds was tied up in the equity of their house. Johnny Jennings and the Made for More team were able to get them an offer $35,000.
Wow.
Above list price, and it helped them make a smooth move out of state.
Yeah, so if you want to sell your home and maybe it's not in the best condition, you're like, oh, we should probably do something about the roof or the carpets, and you're worried about that, you don't need to worry. Johnny Jennings and Made for More Realty can get you a guaranteed offer for whatever condition your house is in. It's private, it's secure, and you can even get your offer in the same day. So if you're looking to sell your home and you don't want to go through the whole open house and showing and that whole process, you got to call Johnny Jennings at Made for More Realty today. Expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings at Made for More Realty. Just Google Made for More Realty today and get more for your home. License number 581837.